Good morning, guys. How's everybody's week so far? We still kind of quiet right now. I think the market's still trying to push down some, so it's still a slow month. Maybe we'll see a little bit more pickup at the end of the month. It's whatever, right? So, was currently looking at these lines that I drew from the bands, and we're getting really close to this cross here. And this is I was telling some guys in a voice channel that if we get, I think the closer we get to that cross, the bigger move is gonna happen. Now we're still in a 50-50, right? But we're pushing more bear than bull right now, and the biggest reason is because we're passing this variance line right here. I'll just remove this. So we're passing this variance right here. Okay. So what's important about this line right here is you can see it's been testing through here quite a bit, but it's actually trying to break through. So if we do continue down this pathway, this model, we could see prices all the way back down to 395. And we've talked about these numbers before. Maybe not as extreme, and I try not to keep extreme numbers until just because there's still a big gap, but we're closing that gap, getting closer to that $400 range for SPY. So it's not, it's not like crushing yet, right? Because it's slowly doing it. It's not like super fast, like a massive sell off. But it can get concerning though when it gets under this line here for sure. If we look at our daily, you can see we're testing this particular point right here. It's got still 14 hours left on this, and it's got to stay above 427. So if it breaks below that 427, we're going to see a bigger drop happen. Let's see if we got any buys yet. Anything picking up on the buys? And I like to switch just different time frames, just kind of see what I see. Again, like that 425, has been a level where it's bounced before. So we'll see if that plays through. And I would say safely over 428.28, you could maybe get in some calls. But again, that's what I said. Like, you have to be super careful about, shorting this right now or buying it. Just because of the volatility. And when there's sell pressure, that's usually when you see that volatility kick in a little bit more. Way over up here is 434. 435 is a pretty strong resistance. And like I've been talking about, that 430 zone, and that's where they've been teasing retail in that 430 level. It'd get over 430 if people would start buying in, and then they'd drop it right after. So it's just really critical to pay attention to how the market's reacting, and let those entries come to you guys. Don't force these entries. So we always use that 80% rule of, when we get into the green bands, it's going to try to bounce back up. But it can do that in a downtrend too. So it's important to remember, like, even if the price is bouncing up, it's still going lower than the previous one, right? And like, if you look at this deviation at 426, if we retest the same deviation, it's all the way down at 421, 422. So we'll see if SPY wants to drop that low. Obviously, the lower it gets past on that daily, the higher chance that we're going to get to that 300 or 400. So another drop area that I noticed on the deviation was this third one here on the variance. And excuse my mouse is acting weird. This Bluetooth mouse. is it was on the third deviation at 428, and if we retest that same deviation, it's like 413 range. I'm just looking at like some patterns and stuff. So VIX, like I said, you can hedge a bet against VIX, but even right now, it's kind of like risky, right? Because it's whipsawing a lot. It's not necessarily going up. And this is that squeeze that I was talking about. Like today could be a pretty slow day for the market overall. So, and I think it's because we're getting into that squeeze where the shorts are going to have to make a decision, the longs are going to have to make a decision, and we might see more of that on the end of the week or next week. So, is there anything that looks good today? Not really. I mean, everything's still kind of in the downtrend. You could maybe scalp some puts, but that's risky too, right? Because you're still gonna fight buyers in this movement. The price wants the nice squeak, Thomas. The price wants to go up, right? And it will seem like it's a good time to short. And as soon as you put your short entry in, then it starts going up on you, right? Even though it probably is going to go down, your timing is off, is what's happening. The timing is the best, is best in the red bands, okay? And you just wait for a little bit of confirmations where it's rejecting or it's not getting past some of these higher deviations again. Like in this example right here, where it was hitting these deviations no problem, but then it couldn't reach this deviation, and that's when it started rejecting, and it hit this last deviation and it rejected completely, right? So that would have been your indication if you're shorting it. Now, a lot of people get tempted. They want to short down here. And I can understand that because the momentum will be pushing the price down more. Maybe your premium will go up faster, but just know it's a high risk, right? There could be buyers on the sideline waiting to get into an entry that's really cheap. And even if the price does go back down again, they could buy it up, get it to a range level that it was before, and we'd be in the same situation. So it's really important just to pay attention to some of those signs, right? Anytime it gets in those green bands and whatnot. 1 second. Anytime we get in these green bands, is kind of what happens and stuff. So it's something you got to pay attention to. When it gets down here, it still has a high probability of going back up. All right, so I'm done beating the dead horse. Euro market is struggling again. The euro dollar struggling. So I was having a little bit of debate with another user in Royal's group, and Royal has a good group. Those guys, they're pretty smart and pretty decent traders. But there's still always that when you're talking to people about money and talking about things that are close to them, there's always like emotion sometimes. And I could tell like there was just a little debate going on if crypto is going to overrun the USD, right? The current USD currency. And my opinion is I believe that crypto is going to be that overall currency in the future. It has to, right? The great video that I watched last night kind of confirms that as well. And it's just talking about, to stop inflation, we have to create deflation. And by doing that, well, we kind of are, right? Like it's unfortunate that people are still kind of stuck in the 20th and 18th century, in their minds. And it's hard to change that mindset from people, right? But technology is evolving, and it's evolving very fast. So we just have to stay on that same momentum with technology, right? If we want to succeed as well. And if we get stuck behind, we're going to lose some great opportunities, right? So don't be narrow-minded. Don't be closed-minded. If you see an opportunity at a very cheap price for crypto right now, take it, because you may not have that opportunity again. And we've been down this road before with crypto, when the altcoins were extremely cheap, and you like, even me, I was a little naive at first, right? I was like, no, 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 this is probably not a good idea. But the more and more research I've done, and just understanding how technology keeps evolving, and we it's just naturally going to happen. It's just the new currency, the crypto, is just going to take over because it has to. And I don't think humans will have any control of that. I think it's all AI. Constantly, AI is showing us how powerful it is and how much we rely on it and use it. We don't rely on the USD anymore, right? We rely on debt. We rely on our credit, but we don't rely on the cash. So I think something that's going to build some stability into something that's what we're evolving into with technology is going to have to be crypto. So, and if we talk about crypto, it's reacting. We hit, I don't know if we hit 52K, but it's definitely showing some momentum. You can see there's a lot of strength in this chart. Even though it is in the red bands right now, we have to play that role. If we're assuming that if Bitcoin is going to start moving up, right, the bands will start kind of doing something like this, right? And you can see I already got some nice lines here for you guys to write down. But if the bands start moving like this, we're going to create new strong supports at 43,000, right? And if we can do that, then we can get up into that 60K, 70K, and people that thinks that sounds crazy, and oh man, that's never going to happen. You can't subject that, right? I mean, this is it's a global currency. You cannot stop it. So, I mean, that's the thing, is you can't stop a world from trading this. You can make your own coin, and that's fine and dandy, but you can't stop the rest of the world from doing what they want to do. And unfortunately, that's just what's going to happen. They could have their own coin. The federal government could have their own coin, but you can't stop freedom of speech, and you can't stop a technology that is going to move faster than this older technology, right? This older system that they have in place that has proved over the years to fail, right? Our whole brainwash mindset is to buy, right? But you're just blowing that money. And I was telling the guys in the chat yesterday, like, if you make $1,000, learn how to make another $1,000. Don't take that $1,000 and buy something, right? Because then you just wasted all that time to grow your profit, right? And that's what it's really about. And people just they advertise and they show things that, ooh, I should get this, and that's the real trick. But it keeps the wealthy wealthier, because we're giving them money, right? So I think in the future you're going to see this new turn of, like, we don't need corporations anymore. Like, there might be bigger companies for the automation systems, but in a whole, it's proven now, even when the whole COVID system happened, it's proven that we can sustain at home. We can sustain with our new technology that is given to us. And if you think 10 years ago where technology was, think 10 years from now where technology is going to be. So it's kind of like, yeah, I can kind of see it, right? Because a lot of the people, naysayers, are old, right? So look, time's up. You know what I mean? I mean, we all die, but the people of the future that are going to see this country 10 years from now, they're not going to see it with our old currency. They're not going to see it with the way we've been running this world. So, and that's great, because that's what we need, right? And as long as we can control AI in a way that AI doesn't control us, that we don't become Skynet, we could really have a real solution for this world, right? So I think, you know, crypto could be the start of that solution. And it's reacting. Like, why is crypto going up, but the rest of the markets are going down, right? Because it's a world currency. So that's just my 2 cents in the rant with that. So let's get back to the technical analysis real quick. So Bitcoin, right? It needs to hold around 49,000 if it wants to keep this momentum. If we start seeing a little bit of a shift, we might go back down to 46,000 range or so. We still have a buy. Like I said, that 49,000 we need to probably hold there. That would be a safe place. And you can see that what's nice about Nessie is it likes to create new range steps, right? Not range steps, just support and resistance steps. Just very simple, right? Where price is just, when it holds, it gets above, and it drops when it goes below, right? Perfect example right here, where it didn't held, and it probably was confirming that it was overbought, meaning that it was a good time to get out of that entry, right? In a scalp or day trade scenario. So people took profit here, and then they bought it back up when the line rendered down, and as you see on the chart, that was a good time to get into that entry. So the reason why I'm saying that is sometimes people they'll chase a trade instead of just taking the opportunity, right? They'll get into this position right here and they'll keep holding. But the line, even though the line's saying, look, it's a sell, you're going to keep holding it, right? So always wait for that line to create a new support. It might go up really high and then drop some, but as long as that line is rendering like it is right here, that's a support. So we look at those previous supports as well. And we have a few. We have 48,000, we have one at 47, and we have a main one right here at 44,000. So those are our supports for crypto. If we can get above this area right here, right, and we could go into a sideways uh, day, who knows? But let's just say we do. But then we squeeze and we start testing again this 51,000 and get up to 52. If we can hold above 52, then our next level is 57,000. So just very important to pay attention to. And matter of fact, I'm in a couple of these, right? And you could see SHIBB. SHIBB has just been a monster. Like, who cares? Even if crypto had no future, who cares? Because you could have made a killing off this. Like, and it's super cheap. Like, you could spend $10 and have you, I don't know, like a thousand SHIB, right? I mean, it's not even, it's a fraction of a penny, but it's still tradable. Why? Because it's the crypto market. You know, the other beautiful thing about the crypto market is there's no controlling, right? You don't feel controlled. I could easily just go on Coinbase, right? Open my account, get it linked to my bank account, and start sending money there to buy crypto instantly. I don't have to wait this 5 day period, this cash period, which again, it heightens your emotions. So you start chasing trades because you don't have that many trades left, in the pattern day trading rule and all that crap. No, it's a way to control us. So crypto, you make mistakes, yes, but you learn from your mistakes because you're able to, with a smaller amount of money, right? You don't have to put in a whole bunch of money. You could spend $50 and make $20 on this play right here. So it's something to think about. Like, if the rest of the market's going sour, go to crypto if it's hot. I mean, that's the whole point of us trading. So it's something that you need to look at. And I think there's always an opportunity to make money in the markets. You just got to follow the money. So right now it's crypto and SHIB. If we can hold above this 2,000, whatever that amount is, I have no idea. Um, we can create new supports and we can get closer to being an actual penny, which is crazy to even think about. But long term, who knows where SHIB's going to be, right? So it's a very interesting, it's fun market. I really like crypto. It's very fun. So looking at ADA and stuff, it's showing a buy right here. Just uh, it's in the green bands. See if ADA can finally get above this this 330 or this 230 right here, and start seeing some new highs up to that $3 range again. So it's it looks like it. I've told guys, like, if it gets below $2, then you might want to wait for a new entry. It doesn't mean that it's dead. They might just be loading up more. So it's not always negative, and that's any market. It's not negative when you see the price going down, unless the price doesn't go back up, right? And it starts consolidating, and you get something like Citigroup that happened, and in a 5-year, 10-year span, a decade almost, you're still not out of the hole, right? You don't want to fall in those traps. But these are like low risk situations with a lot of these altcoins. They're very cheap, right? Don't put $2,000 into something that you don't fully trust or understand yet, right? You don't need to do that. Okay, that's emotional. Just put some money in there, because you're looking at the technicals. It looks like it's a good time to buy, and it's a low risk situation, right? So those are just a couple of tips. And sorry for the music, but whatever, is what it is. So maybe I'll do a little bit more crypto talk in these chats if the other market starts going sour. So if you guys have other coins that you want to take a look at, or me discuss or whatever, I can definitely do that. 5 years ago, or 5 or 6 years ago, when crypto was booming and stuff, at that time, the group was mainly crypto. Like, we talked about crypto more than we talked about options or stocks. But then when crypto started going down, then we adapted and went to stocks. So now we're adapting and we're going back to crypto. It is what it is, right? So yeah, so hey, you know what? I appreciate the support. I understand that a lot of you guys are broke, right? And I don't mean that in like a harsh way. I just know that there's no money coming in, because there's a lot of jobs that are still closing down or closed down. Opportunities are very low because we're still stringent on this inflation, right? So it's just creating Americans with more debt, and it's not really fixing the situation, right? As soon as you get money, you spend it. So I understand, that it all also affects your lives and what you can afford to pay for and what you can't afford to pay for, and if you can afford to trade or you can't afford to trade. And I've always told people, like, only trade if you can afford to lose that money, right? Don't trade if you can't, because that's silly. So we don't want to just throw money in the trash. True, right? But the money that we do throw in the trash, we should have more money coming from it, right? Like that's going to replace it or replenish it. Like if you were filling up a glass of water, just think about that with your bank account. Just keep replenishing it like a glass of water. So you don't want to get into a situation where that you're getting hooked onto just spending money into the market, and then you can no longer replenish that bank, right? And then you get into trouble, and then you're asking for loans, and it just gets worse from there. So I'm not upset that there's not a lot of views or whatnot. It can get aggravating just because I know the information's very good. It's very solid. I've spent a lot of years into this, and I know what I'm talking about. So, and it's good because there's still people that it is helping, right? That do have a little bit more funds to play in this crazy market, and it is helping them with their trades. So that's key, right? It's just helping other humans. So if I reach out to 2, if I reach out to 1,000, it doesn't matter as long as I'm helping. But that's it. That's all the time I got for today, and I will see you guys on Friday Be nice to people. Open doors. Peace.